Hi guys, it's Alexis again, and I know when I posted a picture of this deck on Instagram, I asked everyone if they wanted to see a review on this deck, and it was outstanding, yes. With that being said, at first I was going to do a first impressions of this deck, but I decided against it because I didn't feel like that was right. I wanted to actually be able to explain more about this deck and give you guys a full understanding of what's going on with it. I had a lot of people tell me that they didn't know, they got the deck and they couldn't figure out how to use it. So I'll also try to kind of explain that I've only used it twice so far. But I kind of have an understanding of how the deck works. I've watched and read other reviews. This is just my opinion on the deck and how I feel towards it. So the story behind why I got this deck is because my best friend and I decided to go to Barnes & Noble after going out for lunch like 3 weeks ago, I think. And we were going through the books and we're going through the decks and stuff, like in that section of it. And I saw the deck, I wanted the deck, couldn't afford it. I got it for $35 from Barnes & Noble. My mother-in-law, after going there, gave me a gift card, and that's how I got the deck. So I went back and purchased it. So for some odd reason, the deck was just like, buy me. So I decided to just go ahead. I got the gift card and I bought it. One of the first things I noticed about this deck is it is absolutely gorgeous. The box to it is gorgeous. Even the booklet to it, right there. Waiting for that to self-focus. It's a really beautiful deck. I mean, look at that. So it's just a really absolutely breathtaking deck. Things I didn't notice before I bought it is it's only 22 cards, which means it's literally just the signs and then the planets. That's all this deck is. And once I noticed that, I was like, okay, well, I could only really figure one way that this deck was going to work. And once I started looking at other reviews and started looking at booklet, I was absolutely correct. You have to use it as a house reader. And I will get to that later about why I'm not a huge fan of the booklet. But the one thing I did notice is the booklet is in multiple languages. It's in English, French, Russian, Italian, French, and one other language I haven't been able to identify. It has, when it comes to the signs, it has all the signs, their elements, it has all the planetary rulers and their mottos. The one thing I did notice, it didn't say whether it's cardinal, muted, or whether or not when it comes to the signs, which a lot of people also told me that they got this deck to learn more about astrology, and I don't think this is really going to do much for anyone other than going into the houses. And my opinion on how they did the houses is it's just not the best. They also do have the houses, like I just mentioned, and it explains what the houses are. The one reason why I'm extremely disappointed by how they did this, and correct me if you know stuff about astrology, but what I noticed is everything I knew about the houses and house placements, and I have studied a little bit of the house, what the houses are and what they symbolize for. I've noticed in most of the texts I have read or the books I've read about astrology, the houses are typically in the same place, and this deck, the layout that it teaches you, is not the same. It kind of interpreted the houses on its own, and I do not know whether that's because it's an oracle deck and it's for divination, or whether or not they just used the wrong information. So I'm not sure about that. I think if you're using this to learn about astrology, you might want to watch that portion of it, because the houses and what they symbolize and what they're used for is wrong in the booklet. And I just wanted to let you know about that. And then it has the planets and what the planets symbolize and what the planets rule over, which again is really cool if you did pick up this deck for that reason. Other than that, it doesn't really teach you how to use the deck, and I stated already on my Instagram that I noticed that, and I wasn't exactly too thrilled about it not explaining how to use the actual deck, but it did mention that you could use the 12 houses. You use the 12 houses for the zodiac, and then you use the planets afterwards. Now, when I try to use this, and I do have video footage of me setting up that I will include in this, of the spread, it's very difficult because you have to then, like, you shuffle the deck and then you have to take all the planets out and then place them intuitively. Now, when I did the reading, I did a reading for a friend because I'm still getting used to the deck. It worked out. She was very happy with it, but it is also a really time-consuming reading to do. It's not very fast. I mean, you have to use all 22 cards for the reading. And I definitely don't think this deck is for beginners because you really have to sit down and bond with that deck and really understand your own intuition and how you work with it and how you work for decks. I do not think this deck is for a beginner. That's solely my opinion, and you don't have to listen to me. You can go get the deck, but that's my opinion on this deck. It is not for a newbie. But in my opinion, it's a good deck. It's not a very versatile deck. I don't know how I would price a reading for this. I don't know how I would do a reading for this professionally or for money because it would be very expensive. Just because there's no other way. I mean, you could use 12 cards and then offer it for 22 cards. But that's an expensive reading, unless you're doing it in person, I guess. But time will tell. It has beautiful artwork. It does have good energy. I also will note that it's very light, very positive. When I was shuffling it and when my best friend was shuffling it, we both stated it's very easy. It's a very flowing deck. It's very kind energy. I would probably rate this probably a 3 out of 4 deck, a 3 out of 5 deck if I had to, because the artwork is just so gorgeous, but there is an issue with the information it gives with the booklet, which I don't know. If you know astrology, like I said, reach out with me, tell me if the houses can be different. I might just not know better, so you can tell me what's up with that. I did have to go back. I have a book that teaches you how to read charts, and I found myself having to go flip over to that book to be able to read this deck, because it does tell you about the signs and it does tell you about the planets, but when it comes to the like body and healing and stuff, that the stuff they have in the booklet is going to like really explain that thoroughly, and I just feel like this deck doesn't give enough information as to how to read it. Even though I keep on saying it's absolutely beautiful, but I can see why so many people have reached out to me since posting that picture and said, I have no clue what to do with this deck. It kind of just sits there. Because you really, the booklet doesn't help you, so you have to do a lot of like secondhand research, and if you bought it for that reason, it's obsolete. But I'm going to put that footage in of me setting it up. So if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe. If you want to see more deck reviews, let me know. I am coming up with a new series soon for a couple unboxing videos, so if you're interested in that, let me know, and subscribe to my channel like I just said. Have a good day.